Welcome to the May 28th, 2026 school board meeting. Would you please join me for a moment of silence? Thank you. Will you join us for the pledge? Next item is approval of the agenda. And I want to make one change under 5B under policies. I want to remove 5.110 to the planning session so we can have some discussion.
Move to approve as amended.
Second. We have a motion to approve as amended and a second. Any other discussion? Vote, please.
All ayes.
Motion carries. Next, we have approval of the minutes from the previous meeting.
Motion to approve.
I'll second. We have a motion to approve and a second for the minutes from the previous meeting. Any other discussion? Vote, please.
All ayes.
Next, we have public comment on actionable items. No one has signed up. Thank you. Next, we have recognitions.
Madam Chair, members of the board, I'm going to ask that Miss Janie Jones come forward. Miss Janie is with the Family and Community Education Group, and she has an announcement that she would like to make in recognitions.
Yes, we have a character counts essay contest with our fourth graders. Before I get recognized, I want to recognize Melinda Fortner. She did an awesome job. It's great to see former students shine like that. But the year before we had one entry, and this year we had over 100. And that was through her efforts with all the schools, not just one or two. Our first lady, the essay was on respect, Anna Kate Rawls of Stuart Burns, and she gets a certificate and a cash prize of $10. And I'm not sure that she is here tonight.
Okay.
Our second place winner from Centennial is Evelyn Green. And Evelyn is here. They do get their original back, except our first place.
Evelyn, will you stand up here?
$15.
Okay.
And our first place winner from Oakmont is Hillary Romero. And Hillary gets a $25 cash prize plus a certificate. And the good thing about Hillary Romero, and our state president said I can announce this tonight, she is first place in the state of Tennessee for FCA. We'll get an invitation. Our state convention is in Gatlinburg, and she'll have an opportunity to read that in front of 300-400 people.
That's
Thank
wonderful.
you.
Miss Jones, can I get you two to take a picture with Evelyn?
We're always glad.
Thank you. Thank you, Evelyn. Thank you, Miss Jones. I'd like to ask Miss Mary Morrow to come forward, please. Miss Morrow would like to recognize White Bluff Church of Christ and Miss Ann Heath for their continued support of the backpack program that they do with our district. And so we cannot thank you enough for all of the work you do. And you volunteer to do that, and it is so appreciated. So thank you very much for all of your work. Also, we would like to call up individuals from the Help Center. We want to recognize you in all of your efforts and support for the Dickson County Public School System. So thank you so much. Thank you, Ms. Martin. Is Sky Rhodes and Miss Julie Grambo here? Hey, Julie, I apologize. I did not see you. Would you come forward, please? And Miss Mary Morrow, would you come forward, please? Miss Julie, wow. We appreciate you and Miss Sky. And can you tell us a little bit about what you did?
There was a student at my school that was choking in the hallway and they helped, so I went inside the classroom and ran to the student and performed my
Well, let me say this. That just goes to tell all of us how important it is to get certified, to
That is
understand and
right.
know how to do the Heimlich and other CPR procedures. Julie, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. And actually, because they're fun.
And we also want to recognize Ms. Sky Rhodes for her help in assisting with this. So thank you very much. That's all of our recognitions.
Okay, next we have straight to finance.
Straight to finance.
Good evening. First on the finance list are the monthly financials. So as you'll see, the revenues are up and expenditures are up compared to this time last year, and that was through the end of April 30th. Property taxes up, sales taxes up, utilities and diesel fuel are both up, and gasoline is just a little bit down, but I'm sure we'll catch that back up.
Yeah.
Next, you'll see are the summary financial statements and the summarized balance sheets for each fund.
Do we have any questions on the monthly financial report?
Move to approve monthly financials.
Have a motion to approve the monthly financials and a second. Do we have any other discussion? Vote, please.
All ayes.
Motion carries. Next.
The next item you will see, this is what I brought to you at the planning session. It's the contract that Dickson County High School will hold over the next 3 years with Montgomery Bell for prom. And so I just wanted you to be aware of it. And I don't know if this is for approval, but I just wanted awareness.
We
for
don't
this.
approve it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Next, we have 141 budget amendments.
It should be the same thing you saw at the planning session. There were a few minor changes, and then also summer camp was added. We received the summer learning camp grant allocations, so those have been added, but that is in and out grant money. It's on a reimbursement basis, so we'll get that back by year end.
Fiscal year end or,
By June 30. Mhm.
okay.
Do you have any questions about the amendments for 141? Ms. Thiel?
Question is about the substitute teachers.
Mhm.
Like we adjusted that. I have it in front of me right at this moment, but we adjusted it to make it end at the 1.6, which is what was the original amount that we had in our budget that we then reduced for 2026, 2027. So my question and concern is, if it's going to be that much this year, I know we were told that we're going to make some adjustments.
Yes.
I'd just like to understand that better, because we are upping it to the amount that you all had originally thought it would be for the
Yes.
next year. So can somebody explain that to me a little
Yes.
better?
Yes. So what we have always allowed was for principals to make those decisions on who they were putting in for subs. What we noticed is within our classified, they were putting certified individuals, and it was creating our costs to go up. And so after collaborating, we felt that setting parameters for what would be a certified sub as opposed to a classified sub, we don't really need a certified personnel to be a sub for PE.
Right.
And so we feel by setting some parameters that will keep our costs down. And that's what principals will need to follow. So that was our thinking on that. And we feel that through those parameters, it's going to save us some money.
Okay. So
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a good way to track the new procedure? If you set a procedure for them too, do you have a good way to track that, to keep up with a little bit of data, and maybe next year keep up with how much money was saved versus?
Yes, and that's a very good question. ESS gives us very good reports, and we can track classified, certified, and then through finance, she'll be able to look at the cost savings each month, as opposed to where we were last year. So yes, and we can share that periodically if you would like in planning sessions.
Maybe once a quarter.
Once a quarter? Okay, we will.
Do we have any other questions about 141 amendments?
Approve on these amendments.
Yes.
Motion to approve 141 budget amendments.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the 141 budget amendments. Any other discussion? Vote, please.
All ayes.
Motion carries. Next is 142 budget amendments.
So these were just recently approved by the State Department for all of our federal grants. We had some minor changes with consolidated, which includes IDEA and title funding, and then we also had some CTE changes. And we also added in the preschool development grant for $250,000.
Do you have any questions on the 142?
Move to approve 142 budget amendments.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the 142 budget amendments. Any other discussion? Vote, please.
All ayes.
Motion carries. Next, we move to the 143 budget amendments.
These are the exact same that was presented to you at the planning session. Been no change.
I'll second. Have a motion and a second to approve the 143 budget amendments. Any other discussion? Mr. Parker?
So do we have a grand total of unpaid lunch now that school's out?
We will not have that till the end. We're to wait till June to see if they're continue to pay. We have a little coming in at a time after school is over even, to get theirs. We were a little over 90,000 and, we hit 76, I believe. So we've cut it, it doesn't sound good, but 76 is where, we had it at the beginning of this week.
And I feel like if I remember right, 70 is about the right number for traditionally. Not that that's an okay number. I think that's just a traditional number. So do you feel like we have, that money's going to come out of our general fund and it will be another amendment that will come out, or we have that in
It's already
place?
in the current amendment.
You got, okay. Okay, thank you.
I will say there are also some donations that have not been applied yet. Again, we're still waiting for the end. We'd like to give everyone an opportunity to pay off their debt first. And then we will apply some of those donations that we've had.
Thank you.
Will you have to make another amendment when those come in, or will it fall in the next?
No, it'll fall in this fiscal year, but there's money there. I made sure there
Okay,
was money there.
thank you. Ms. Thiel?
So, two questions. Under cafeteria personnel, that has increased by 85,000. So I'm trying to figure that out based on where we are in the proposed budget that's being made. So I'm not sure if my question really goes here or when we talk about the budget, but I'm just wondering what the $85,000 is for this year. And then my second question is about food supplies. We've added 43,000, which I can understand because of food costs, but then we've lowered it for our budget. And so the two just don't go together for me without some type of explanation.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that we've done. One, we've tried to reestablish in Balco, we have the commodities. And that is the free food that is given to us by the federal government. But we must pay for processing that.
Right.
To get it here, to store it until they just give it as it's ready. We have to store it until we're ready. So we have to pay a processing fee and a storage, and Gordon Food Services does that. And we pay a large amount to Balco for that processing fee. So one thing we've done, and we feel like that it has been a difference in $100,000, is trying to be more strategic on the foods that we committed to for next year. We've already committed to the food that we're going to get free, having a lower processing fee cost next year. So that is where we hope to. It is a difference of $200,000 to $250,000 in what we did last year. The difference is that now our food costs may go a little higher to purchasing food because we're not getting as much. But we think that that's still going to be a saving of over $100,000 overall. And we are reevaluating some of the things as far as we want to offer as many options as possible for all grades. And some cutting back that we're going to have to do next year is not give as many options and to cut those lower things that are not as popular it may affect a decent amount to where we were offering it. We're not going to offer it so that there's not as much waste and that there's not as much spent on that food. Now, it's, for the kids, they don't get as many options, but we save in the less amount of things that we offer, which will hopefully be able to manage a little bit better what they're going to eat on a daily basis. So we did expect to have a lower food cost based on those two factors that we've been working on preparing for next year.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions on the 143 budget amendments? Vote, please.
All ayes.
Motion carries. Next, we have the 177 budget amendments.
I think they should be the same thing that you all saw at the planning session. We had to move the TVA rebate to a different revenue code than what it was under because it's not technically a grant from the state. And then also down in the expenditures, we had to include all prior year encumbrances that weren't paid out last year, so that our ending fund balance will show a 0.
Say that again.
So all prior year encumbrances that we had outstanding, like they weren't paid at the end of FY25, they need to be included in the expenditure line item for our budget for this year, per the auditor.
Understood. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Motion to approve the 177 amendments.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the 177 fund budget amendments. Any other discussion? Vote, please.
All ayes.
Motion carries. Next, we have budget for 142.
So this is the same. So this is the same every year. We start with an original budget for 142 that includes the consolidated grant and the CTE grant. And then I have to make revisions as the State Department approves other grants that we receive. But at this time, these are the only amounts that the State Department has given us for that. And so those budgets have been entered, but not yet approved by the state, but we need to start the year with something. So we typically just go ahead and go with what we have.
So the amount when these are less than last year, it's still in range what you expect them to be.
Yes, and whenever we finish out the year, we do always have carryover funds that carry over into next year, and so those funds will have to be amended into the budget once that happens, which isn't until I think last year was in October by the time we had that.
And like Valerie said, there are some grants that we know we'll receive, but we don't have yet, so they would be included in those amounts.
It's all very good to know. Those numbers, I was like, oh wow. I'm sure you told me this last year. They have to tell me again.
Move to approve the 142 FY27 budget.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the FY27 142 budget. Any other discussion? Vote, please.
All ayes.
Motion carries. Next, we have the budget for 143.
Motion to approve.
A second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the FY27 143 budget. Any other discussion? Mr. Parker?
Did every employee in the 143 budget get the 2% raise that everybody else did?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Ms. Thiel?
Can you talk to me about the revenues, specifically like income for breakfast? I'm looking at the budget and looking at where we are this year. Like, basically, if I look at those revenue numbers and I look at where we are this year, it makes me, I know y'all proposed an increase, but I'm just not sure that some of these numbers are realistic based on prior history and where we are today. So would you explain more how we're going to make this budget work?
So
What's
food service.
I'm looking at the 43000 numbers,
Okay.
that really that whole group. I mean, I'm just looking for
Yes.
a general explanation.
I know
of
that it
why-
is confusing, but their revenues are nearly 2 months behind. So even though you might be looking at the April financials, that's only really revenue through February. It takes a long time for us to get those USDA, well, those are at the, I'm sorry, the USDA back from the government. Sometimes those do take, they have a 2-month lag there. But as far as the charges for services, I'll have to look at that and get back to you.
So, what are the increases? Because I
those
know,
should just be 1 month behind at the top.
Okay.
The increase for next year is from lunch is from $3.50 to $3.75. That's the only change. There's no breakfast increase anticipated for next year.
okay.
Just lunch.
So, like lunch payments for adults, I guess theirs will be $3.75 as well.
No, theirs is it $4.50?
$4.50, I think.
Lunch
$4.25.
for adults,
Yeah.
$5.
$5. Well, we're not meeting this. Is that one also 2 months behind? Though I would think
That
is
should only
just-
be 1 month behind, but I don't know how many charges you have for adults.
I do not know it right now. I know that we had cut it in half. We were around at last week, around 5,000.
I will look at that and get back to you, though. I will analyze those further.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Parker?
How much is in there for summer school? And does that change throughout the year?
For revenue,
Or, yes, that comes in?
we haven't accounted for it in prior years, but he's done that the last 2 years, and it's brought in well over
Over
$200,000.
$200,000. We hope to bring in more. We've added another week this year, and plus we're sending home for those campers. We're sending home 3 more days of food that we did not do last year, and that will be all revenue. Because again, the federal government will pay for those meals that are going home. So
Right.
we hope to increase even what we did last year, and we know a little bit more of how many we have, so we're increasing the meals that we're going to give out. Last year we gave everything out, had to turn some away. This year we hope to have more to give to those specific places so that we can bring in more revenue during this time.
So the summer school revenue is in.
It's in the FY27 budget, but it's actually not in the FY26 budget because I didn't know that last year was the first year of doing that, and so I didn't know what it was going to bring in. So for FY26, there is not. So we do probably anticipate bringing in more under the USDA, even though we might be under charges. But I'll look at that and send that to you guys.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Ms. Thiel?
under cafeteria personnel,
Mm-hmm.
to go to Aaron's comment about everybody getting 2%, like what we just amended for cafeteria personnel went to 1,525,000. But if I
just say that number times 1.02, we're still a few $1,000s short. So I'm just wondering if this number needs to be increased by another 5 or 6,000.
So, per Mr. Williams and what he has to follow, technically personnel should be 40% of your budgeted revenues. You should be at 40% for personnel, 40% for food cost, and 20% for other costs. And so he's had to be very strategic. These raises are great to give to them, but unfortunately, when people do leave, a lot of times we do have to, or he does have to fill them with part-time positions so we can save on medical costs and those types of things. And so that is probably where that comes in at.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
One last question. Food service equipment, I'm just concerned that you might need more money there.
Guaranteed.
So,
Promise.
Any suggestions? You're first.
I agree. And there's some equipment that we could purchase right now. We're doing the best we can. That's in the other factor, and to make up for our budget of labor cost and the other, we cannot afford to do that at this time. We have been Harold has been great about fixing things and helping us in that area. But if we ever have to get one, and that's one thing I put in for some, around 50,000, hopefully for next year.
right.
But that will get only one oven. If one oven goes down, one oven for a commercial kitchen is about $35,000. So that would take care of that. A freezer, we hope that we don't have to replace a whole thing, a whole freezer or cooler to walk in. That's a large amount. So yes, I'm as concerned as you are about that. However, the higher, and if you want me to, I can show you how it works out. We're below 10%. That 40-40-20, we're below 10% on other, and that other includes equipment. It includes any extra things that might be needed. We're trying to bare bones that, trying to get that budget balance the best we can, and that's.
Well, just know I feel that same concern that you're going to need some more money there, and
Yeah,
we're going to
every
get.
day, nothing goes to the point where we have to do that. But yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
But we take maintenance department to work on that stuff, but we got a guy, right? Via the budget, we got a guy that works for nutrition to fix all the nutrition stuff, right?
He's not a HVAC or he's not specialized in that equipment. He is a maintenance person that will help any small thing that he knows that he can do. We try to take care of that. He changes out things and moves things around. So he's not a specialist as an HVAC as Gerald has, or if it came to an oven, he's not a specialist in that. So when you say, do we have someone? Yes, we do. But I want to be clear that he's not a specialist in that area, and he helps out a lot, and he hopefully saves time and money to Gerald in the things that he does. But again, there's some things he's not specialized at where we need what Gerald has in HVAC work and things like that.
I will say, when we look at working on equipment, we will utilize our HVAC specialist, but at times we do have to outsource, just due to the nature of that equipment being so complex. So when you're working on big Sub-Zeros and that kind of thing, they can do certain things, but when it comes to big motors and things like that, they're not always, they have that specialty.
We're
for
about
that
sub
project.
zeros. There's nobody
Well-
in this district trained to work on combi.
Yeah,
Right. There's nobody here that can.
they can do it. I mean, it's just,
It's
we're
different.
limited with this type of equipment.
3 years ago, we bought 6 with our surplus to be able to keep up those combi ovens that Gerald was talking about, to make sure that some of the cafeterias had what they needed. So
If that 2% raise makes it hard to do the budget, I'm gonna be here for at least 4 more years. I'm gonna fight for it 4 more years. So we need to figure something out for the next 4 years to get that thing up. I ain't gonna quit on them. Just FYI.
Any other questions? Vote, please.
All eyes.
Motion carries. Next, we have FY27 budget 177.
This is going to be kind of similar to the 142 in that this is my best guess estimate as of May the 21st when I had these uploaded onto here. This will probably, I'm sure we'll have to amend it because I'm not sure exactly what amounts will be outstanding at 6/30/26. So we'll have to amend after the audit comes in, but we need something to start the year out with. So
Move to approve. The 177.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the FY27 177 budget. Do we have any other discussion? Vote, please.
All eyes.
Motion carries. Next, we have out-of-county fees.
Madam Chair, members of the board, we discussed in the planning possibly looking at cost per student with families. When we were speaking about this, I didn't have numbers. And so I wanted to present those to you tonight. We currently have 33 students that are out of county. The 33 pays $1,600 per year per child. And what I would like to ask is looking at families of 3 children, that the first child be the 1,600 and siblings are 500, and hope that you would consider that. Because we do get, when they come, we're getting their base rate, which we have placed on the sheet. And so sometimes that could be a deterrent with them having to pay $1,600 per student to come to Dickson County. It's just a proposal.
Mr. Parker.
The 33, I'm just curious. You got 33 that are currently paying tuition. And I asked that we're not counting the 30. I'm going to guess, I don't see Melinda here. She might be able to tell you, but I know there's probably 10-ish that live in Cheatham County.
Yes, sir. That are
out there,
grandfathered in.
but they're not.
No, sir.
They're not in on this 33.
No, sir.
And they'll continue to be grandfathered in the Dickson County schools right there.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Bill.
Well, I'm making a motion to approve your proposal.
Second.
Mr. Paley.
Clarification, the sheet says that 1,600 for the first child and 500 for each additional child. That's the way I agreed to that. I was thinking you said 3 or more would be 500, so make sure it's clear.
No, sir. Every child after
the
the
first.
first. Yes, sir.
Thank
Mr. Parker.
Do you know how many got multiple kids going currently?
I do not. I can get that for you. We typically see families of 2, 3 come.
And just I want to clarify that the multiple kids, the siblings, need to be enrolled at Dickson County School at the same time. Therefore, if you have I'm just going to give an example here, a junior and a senior, and the senior graduates, the junior next year will have to pay the 1,600, not the 500. Is that correct? Is that what we're thinking?
My proposal would be that they would be grandfathered in because they are a sibling, but I'll do at the will of the board. If you feel that we need to jump that student. up
Well, I'm
to
thinking, as
1,600.
far as maybe we could have a senior and a kindergartner,
Right.
and the senior graduates. Now we have a first grader who's going to pay $500 for 12 years, or they're going to go back to the
I
1600.
would think logically it says here the first child is 1,600. So if you graduate one, you still have a first child of 1,600,
Yeah.
500 for an additional. I think
I'm good.
that's the way I understand this and what it should be.
So you will be
16.
adjusting that
Yes,
policy.
and I will have that all in writing. Yes, with an example such as that. Yes.
So we have a motion and a second to approve this proposal. Do we have any other discussion? Vote, please. Motion carries. Next, we have maintenance.
What you have in your packet there, letter of recommendation for Lane Lyle. This is for roofing phase 3A, Dickson County High School. To Dixie Roofing for $1,093,650.
Have any questions?
About 10.
Mr. Haley?
So the base bid originally, and I see the difference is showing an alternate bid, but the base bid was originally written for a product I think he listed as EPDM membrane, and the alternate is a change of product to a TPO membrane. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So looking through that, it made me kind of wonder if we stay with the base bid, they were pretty close. So obviously two of them look at it very much the same way. I got to looking back at some other jobs that we had done recently. I know his letter states that they used a TPO 5 years ago on emergency repairs at the high school, which was a small section. But since that time, and even a little prior to it, we've done several whole schools. We did Oakmont Elementary several years back. And what was the product that we used there? Was it TPO or
In my
EPDM?
election, it was EPDM.
EPDM. So we also did Stuart Burns a couple of years ago. Was that TPO or EPDM?
EPDM.
So we did White Bluff also. Was it TPO or EPDM? EPDM. And the high wall area of the high school over the auditorium and the classrooms in that middle section, was that TPO or EPDM?
EPDM.
So the original specs for this base bid were for EPDM. In some opinion, would be a higher quality product, maybe even a longer life. Even with a TPO being a 20 mil thicker, that 20 mil catches it up as best it can with the EPDM. Is that a fair comment? So I think it's fair to say that the base bid was a quality roof of what we've done over the past several years. With that being said, I have to personally recommend we go with the low bid for the EPDM. The base bid as it was designed originally, not the alternate. I'll leave it open for discussion before I make any motions.
I had one question, and it's probably linked to that. It was just more looking at the numbers because I don't know anything about the products. But why was one bidder able to say alternate one was so much less expensive? Does that make sense? Some of them came down like $1,000, and some were able to come down. What makes, if the product is what you're changing out, why was one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably that contractor has got a lot of experience.
I have a different theory that they probably have some of that on hand.
That's what I wondered.
That they
Yeah,
need to get
is where yeah.
So what I researched about the difference in the two is TPO is a very popular product. The further south you go, where it's a hotter weather, it does better in warmer weathers. Where the EPDM is a more durable cold weather, holds up to real cold climates. Us being in the middle, I guess we have an option that either one to fit whichever criteria. The TPO is going to reflect heat better, give you better cooling bills in the summer, but at the same time, it's going to absorb, the EPDM is going to absorb the heat more and give you better heating bills in the winter. So you're kind of mixed in between right here. To me, it just boils down to the quality we've addressed so far. I think the longer life of the EPDM more than makes up for the roughly 10% cost difference. And I just hate to see us, we just finished that high wall in that middle section with a product, and I've heard it talked about, you won't see part of this. It's not a matter of seeing. They're both gray. They're going to be a little different sheen, different shade of gray, but we're looking at our reserve money that we're putting into something that we want to last many, many years. And while there's a warranty on the product, if there is damage to the roof that wasn't caused by the manufacturer, then you have to fix that. And from what I understand about EPDM, that's easier for our maintenance guys to address without specialty equipment to patch or repair, as opposed to the TPO. And I've been sold on the EPDM by the very designer that did these original roofs. And to me, it's hard to step back from that quality product to basically get away from the low bid for $4,000.
Mr. Haley, I think Mr. Lyle put that in there just as an option for a cost savings to the district if they want to do. But to your question about, or your statement about patching it, I can actually purchase patches for EPDM that are self-adhesive on the back and stick them on there. I would still need to call the manufacturer and have them come out and test it and redo it, because we'd lose our warranty there. But we could put a temporary patch on using a self-adhesive patch.
I think that
get
was
some of those donated from the contractors that are putting them on. Right.
For years. That was my thought whenever we had a warranty that we didn't have to worry about a roof for many years, but it's warranted against manufacturer and installation. And when they put this roof on, the manufacturer comes and inspects it, and then the warranty takes off on that day. It doesn't take care of things that if we damage it, if a storm were to damage it, or things like that. So there's still some maintenance to them. But my understanding with the EPDM, while he is approaching from a cost savings, I don't think we're saving anything. I think we're going to be passing that down 15, 20 years from now when we could be getting 25 or 30 out of it. We've been on that road to that product. I'd like to see us stay on that.
I wouldn't argue against Mr. Lyle's recommendation, but I will say one thing I've asked him about the difference possibly in color. The next section they roof, there will be no alternate for TPO. It'll be straight EPDM, because you're going to see those roofs from the front, and then that's going to be so it would change roof membranes around 200, 300, 100, 200.
And he told us that. He said that there would be a savings on this part that you might not see. You might see it from the back, but to me, it's not about the visibility. I think the quality of the product speaks for itself.
And for the record, I do want to say where it got patched 5 years ago from the storm damage, there is a section of that that's not even planned to be roofing this whole thing. It's 5 years old, completely flat, cannot see it from the ground. So that section they wouldn't touch. But
which one is Mr. Lyle's recommendation?
He has recommended the cost savings to go with TPO. He's always said EPDM is superior to TPO. He put that in there for you guys.
My recommendation is whatever you do on this first phase.
First phase was EPD.
And EPDM is what we've done all of our previous ones on.
The last 3 or 4.
EPDM's what's on the roof section they just finished.
We're planning on bidding it in 3 phases.
Mm-hmm. Right.
The warranty's never with the roofer other than like for the first year. He's with the manufacturer.
Right.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion
Yes.
that we accept the low base bid from, is it Panera Roofing at $1,264,698 as the base bid for this section of high school roof.
And that's using EPDM.
The base bid is EPDM.
Seconds.
Have a motion and a second to approve the base bid price of $1,264,698 for Panera Roofing. Any other discussion? Vote, please.
Yes, but I don't know what's happening.
Mine was slow coming up too, so.
All eyes.
Motion carries. Next, we have technology.
I am here to ask the board to approve Rev Track for our tech fees and protection plans.
And this is the same as we discussed at the point.
It is. Mm-hmm.
How much was it?
Yeah, it's $29.95 a month, but we wouldn't have to start paying it until July 26th.
Gee, are you gonna have room in your budget for that?
You know, I'm not cut it close, but you know.
Much different.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the Rev Track. Any other discussion? Vote, please.
All eyes.
Motion carries. Next, we have Human Resources.
Yes, Miss Hillary Hall's not with us tonight, so I will present the human resource report. You see the that we have 5 retirements, and I would like to read those tonight. Miss Vicky Biggs, school nutrition worker, Charlotte Elementary School, 12 years. Kenneth Hamilton, full-time bus driver, transportation, 8 years. Mary Reed, 4th and 5th grade teacher at Centennial, 16 years. Brenda Thompson, teacher assistant, Stuart Burns Elementary School, 43 years. Karen Willie, 9th grade, special education teacher at Dickson County High School, 29 years. And we want to say thank you for their service and appreciate them working for us in the school system. Happy retirement.
I just want to say that I personally have experienced Miss Brenda and how
yes.
great she is. And she will really be missed. I know everyone will be missed, but the kids love Miss Brenda at Stuart Burns.
They did. And again, I agree with you that there's everyone on this list will be missed. On the backside, we have the resignation. The month of April was 1, and then you see the count and the data that Miss Hillary provides for those that have retired for professional change or other job opportunities. That data. Are there any questions?
Next, we'll move to the job description for Transportation Assistant Director.
This is what Miss Melissa Carton has been waiting for. And we have spoken about this opportunity for 2 years now. And I asked Miss Melissa to put together a job description of someone that could help her in this work. As you know, we really appreciate all of our directors
But I would say that our directors would give Miss Melissa an extra star just with the work that she does with transportation and her knowledge. And Miss Melissa, do you have anything to say about this job description? I will give a preface that I noticed when I was reading it, we left off the pay scale. It is 45, and so the draft remains on this until after you approve it. Miss Melissa, do you have any words?
That's something that I've been asking for 5 years. It's killing me.
Got the go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna make sure we got the recommendation from the director and the director of transportation for this.
Yes.
I was just going to question under qualifications, must be 25 years old. Should that say or older? I mean, is that, but it says must be 25 years old, not 26. Should that language, or is that?
So you want it to say must be at least
What is it need
25.
to say?
At least by 25.
I mean,
Hate to miss out on a good 26-year-old.
26 to 28, whatever.
is this pretty much like all of your duties except for supervision of personnel?
But
Assist, I know they're not
this is
own,
about half
but
the
assist.
Yeah.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Good luck finding somebody. I hope.
Yes.
I don't. I want you to do it. Yeah, I think you do a great job. I hope you find somebody.
So we have a motion and a second to approve the job description. Vote, please.
Guys,
Next, we have student services field trips.
Yes, ma'am. William James will be traveling to MTSU. Parents will be taking their own player to that camp. Football will be going to Allen County, Kentucky. Technology students will be going to Washington, D.C. Miss Slangham's class at Creekwood. She does a wonderful job with this competition, STEM X, and it's CTE. And so 2 students qualified to go to Washington, D.C. So very proud of that. Creekwood High School dance camp will be at Tennessee Tech. That's it for these approvals.
One question on
Yes, ma'am.
the Creekwood STEAM camp.
Yes.
Someone in there mentioned William James. Is one of the students?
Yes. Both of them are William James. Yes.
So should we have anything from the Williams James principal? That's just procedure. I'm asking. I didn't
Well,
know.
what I will do is that she's here tonight,
Yeah.
and so I will
Okay.
have her sign off on it. Yes.
No.
That's
So-
very convenient.
Yes.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
All.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve all field trips. Any other discussion? Vote, please.
all eyes.
Lucas.
First and only policy under second read is 1.403. And there were some changes from the planning session. If you look at the final copy, that's the clearest changes, but Mr. Hall suggested some capitalization changes. It's to clarify public commenters from the general public comment section. Try to make that clearer in that section. Again, the final copy in BOEConnect is easier to see those changes in the edited copy.
Have any questions, Ms. Thiel?
Well, I'm just wondering because we say, um, I'm questioning us having persons desiring to speak on matters related to education must list that, blah, blah, blah. And then it says it's at the end of the meeting. But there's another part in there that says, or the way I was reading it, that it's going to be designated by the board. So I'm just wondering, I'm trying to find it again. Well, I guess maybe it's changed since the last time.
May have. There's the section at the beginning of the meeting where people want to address something that's on the agenda, which we did tonight. There was no one signed up for that. And then there's a section at the end of the meeting for general comments on education in Dickson County.
Mm-hmm. I guess it's been corrected, and I didn't catch it in my review.
Motion to
you.
approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve policy 1.403 on agendas. Do we have any other discussion?
What's the difference in line 21 and line 24?
They both mean the same. We're talking about all public commenters, and
The
then
one's capitalized and one's not. I mean, break it down to
if you look at the final copy, I believe you're looking at the edited copy, but if you look at the final copy, they're both lowercase. I'm not sure what happened to the edited copy, but the final comment has them both lowercase.
Any other questions or discussion?
Just an observation. We have ended with no indication of a time limit or a combining if there's a lot saying the same thing. We removed all of that.
That was my understanding of your wishes based on previous discussion. No time limits and no.
I think it throws it back on the chair to terminate the remark, so
If
it's disruptive.
And that's
so.
what I thought. Maybe after 4 hours it starts. If they're all the same.
We could always adjourn and come back the next day, pick up.
Any other questions?
I'm just wondering about everybody having to list their address. Like, I think it's important that they list that they are in Dickson County, but I don't understand the significance of wanting to know their physical address. Can somebody clarify that for me?
Mr. Parker, you want to? Now that you have a mouthful.
I mean, I know that people have, we have often have had people from other counties that want to speak. So I get needing to know that they are a resident of Dickson County. I just don't know that I need to know, like if you say I'm in District 5 or I'm in District 1 of Dickson County and you check it or you sign off on it, I mean, are we going to verify their address that they can speak? So why get their full address?
If I can go in on it, about just Aaron's opinion here.
Yeah, when did you go to law school, sir?
That's just my opinion.
Okay.
That's it. My opinion, and we've had a couple of them here recently that spoke, and they really shouldn't have. If it says, and I'm looking for, what line is it?
It's on line 27.
Line 27, at the end of the person speak.
All commenters shall list their residence address.
Mm-hmm. And we need to change that. Then it needs to say that for their kid in Dickson County schools.
Because right now,
Well,
their residents, it didn't say.
you know,
It has to be Dickson.
16.
does it say that in, okay. And the only way I say that, I'm just
Oh, I
going to back
see,
up to back up to our Cheatham County kids that, you know, those parents should have a right to come and speak to us as they are grandfathered into our school district.
And we have a lot of staff who don't live here.
Staff that don't live here
There's
should
kids
be able to
who do.
speak to us, and just that don't live. So I think you need to be a member of Dickson County Schools or a taxpayer of Dickson County. You know, that lady that come from Williamson County. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't really want to hear from her. You know, just nothing but she was an advocate for a group that she actually wasn't even a part of, and she was speaking to us about it. So some of those people that are not in Dickson County, I guess that's one of the reasons I don't think that. I think the people that come and speak to us need to be our taxpayers, our staffs, affiliated with our school, with children or grandchildren in it. I don't know that just a random person needs to come and, you know, somebody that didn't like Mr. Phil in school 20 years ago that moved to Arkansas, he can come in here and say whatever he wants.
40 years ago.
4 years ago, or they can come in here and say anything they want about any of us. They might not even be from here. You know, Sherry might make someone mad at the concession stand. They live in Pegram. And they come in here and bash you, and there's nothing we can do except sit there and listen to somebody from Pegram.
From 30.
It'd be like some of Lucas's people. You know,
I've seen Lucas there sometimes.
as long as that's why I think that we should make sure that they are Dickson County taxpayers or affiliated with our schools before we sit there and listen to them.
And lines 16 through 20 have not changed. Our current policy says exactly what you're looking at right now for 16 through 20. And I think it addresses what you all have been discussing, but if you want to read over it and just double check that it says what you're wanting me to say.
I don't think it's saying if that person wrote my address is Cheatham, it would just give us the opportunity to kind of confirm you do have a student in our school system.
And I think that goes the same with our 33 that pay us tuition. You know, they should be able to come and speak to us about.
17 and 18 covers that pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah. So having it doesn't say we won't let you speak if you don't have a Dickson address. I just think it's a little bit of, I don't know, just some legitimacy of who you are and where you are. But maybe not. It is asking for, you're saying maybe that's oversharing, that they could just say.
I just thought it was asking a little much, but I mean, I do agree with Erin's thoughts that it must be someone that has involvement with Dickson County schools through either a student or, you know, a taxpayer or those types of things. And I'm fine with it. I'll say that, but I'm also thinking it's requesting more than is necessary.
And I guess I just think it'd be easy for the chair to look through the list and be like, wait a minute. Why are you from Williamson County? What are you speaking on? And
just gives you a means to verify if you need to.
It's just a means to verify. I don't know that anybody's going to Google the address, just make sure they didn't cross the line. But I think if you look at it and say it's Davidson County, Williamson County, somewhere else that's out there just here to speak to us. I mean, we have a policy for them to come speak to us, by the way, which is 1.404, right? Where they can sign up, they can come and present to the board like that if they wanted to. But as far as public comment, I don't care to hear from Williamson County.
Mr. Haley.
I'm looking at the 1.403 final. Is that what we're voting on? And I don't see whether there is a time limit. I think it needs to be a 3-minute on the public comment. Am I missing that somewhere?
There's no time limit. It was all removed.
I think it needs to be a time limit. If not, leave it to the board chair to decide when someone should quit talking or not is very random. It could be very problematic. I think it needs to have a 3-minute time limit. And I think the chair also needs to have the ability to get a group together if need be. And they would likely all agree to have a spokesperson. If they didn't, then they could all speak individually. They need to have that flexibility. I don't see that in there either. Those two need to be in there.
I thought we needed the 3-minute time limit. The only time limit I thought we were removing was the total
30 minutes.
hour,
Right.
third hour, whatever we was talking about. As far as
I'm
each,
sure I agree with that, but I'll go along with it with you. But
yeah, I go along with the 3-minute individual, you know, and I think when we do that, I don't care if they go over 20 seconds. I mean, I think that they write their speech and plan on it to be 3 minutes, and so they think they're going to get through it. I think we have to need to set that boundary, but if there's 47 of them, we'll listen 47 times 3.
and
However many
return
minutes that
the
is.
chair's option to combine those with them if need be. I think 99% of the time the chair can speak with these people. Anything I've ever seen in the past, they could cluster together. Most of them don't want to talk; they want to be heard, and they want somebody to speak for them. It's never really been an issue, but you have to leave a remedy in there in case there is one.
Because I was thinking at the work session, we kind of agreed on switching shall to may, but leaving it in there. Remember we talked about that so that she could, but we're not saying you have to.
Right.
So I think maybe we didn't connect well in where we landed and where we ended up here.
So perhaps we send this back to Lucas to work on some more,
Thank you.
hearing our comments.
So when we bring it back, will it be on first read or back on second read?
Second.
It's on second read
It's
now,
second
right?
right now.
It will
It's
come
on
back at
second
second read.
now.
Yeah.
So it'll be
But
back
we
as
can-
2.5.
So it'll be third. Third.
I think you take no action on it and it moves it.
Yeah.
Or you could vote to move it to the next meeting, either one, how do you do it?
The first policy under first read is 5.114. There have been no changes to it since the planning session. But as a reminder, these are updates from TSBA on what should be in personnel records and guidelines for those records.
Motion to approve 5.114 on first read.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve 5.114 personnel records on first read. Any other discussion? Vote, please.
That show us for you.
It didn't show up.
It's showing on mine that it's already voted.
Yeah, mine too.
I was going to vote yes.
I was going to vote yes.
Maybe I'll do the next one.
Say next.
5.200 is the next first read policy, separation practices for tenured teachers. At the end of this policy, as a reminder, language was struck about employing retired teachers because we have that language elsewhere. And these are updates from TSBA.
Motion to approve 5.201 on the first read.
5.201 or 5.202? 200. One is for tenured and one's for non-tenured.
200. Motion to approve 5.200 on first read.
I'll second.
Have a first and a second to approve policy 5.200 on first read. Any other discussion?
I have one question. It really is on all three of these because they're very parallel. But the one for non-certified, if you look at the one you're looking at, line 20, where it says, under no circumstances shall the director of schools suspend an employee with pay. The third one says, if a Department of Children's Services or criminal investigation is pending, it has that caveat or that clause, and the other two don't. I would think they're all the same. So there's
20 and 21.
it's 20 and 21 and 22. And the one you're looking at doesn't say that. Doesn't say if a Department of Children's Services or criminal investigation is pending. I don't know why non-certified would be different. Seems like they all three would have the same. So I don't know why that one has the children's services. or why the others don't.
That is straight from the model policy, so I'm not sure either why.
Okay.
We would say that.
So just the thought, the certified under some different laws and the classifieds. That probably be a good question for the model policy writer or for Mr. Hall when he's back. But
Now, will
it's
you look-
largely with that.
Look at lines like on 5200, lines 15 through 17.
What do they say?
It's just saying if the matter under investigation is not subject of an ongoing criminal investigation or Department of Children's Service investigation.
So it's in there somewhere else.
It's, yes, I
Okay.
think it's just a
It's new
different
in one
area.
policy, but it's already existing in the other.
Okay, sorry, I didn't catch
No,
that. I
you're
was just looking at
fine.
changes. So we're good on my phone. I'll pull them all three and look again between now and second read. But okay, thank you.
Ms. Thiel,
Under no I'm reading line 18. Under no,
5.200.
yes,
Thank you.
where it says, under no circumstances shall the director of schools, because I was rolling down. If they're under investigation. So my question is, where do those people go? And what do we have them do if they cannot be in the classroom and they have to be away from the students, but we are continuing to pay them? So how do we, in reality, what is the practice of how that happens?
If I have someone, they'll come here and then I dictate what their work is. For instance, if they can still do their work by computer and phone, they get that opportunity.
But if I'm a teacher, if I'm a certified teacher and my role is to be in the classroom,
Right.
and I can't be in the classroom, but we cannot suspend that person.
Right. They would come here. I give them a job. It could be filing, doing things we need, but they are working on their lesson plan so that that substitute gets those tight lesson plans that they're working on. That's what I have them do. Is look, they're doing things for the sub that is placed in that classroom so that it's meaningful and purposeful for students.
So is this a law that you cannot suspend them, or is this just something?
Well, and I think if you keep reading on that one line you're referring to, it's suspend with pay.
Right.
You can suspend without pay. And
I think
then
that's what
if
it
the
means.
investigation is closed, they,
We back pay.
if they're
If
innocent, they're
innocent,
reinstated. And
Right.
back pay.
I just don't know. Like here, we're saying this is what we're doing. And I'm just wondering, like I'm thinking we're paying you as an employee to be in that classroom. Plus, I'm also paying a substitute to be in the classroom because you have done something
That's right.
that you've done something that has caused this to happen. So,
I
like,
suspended
where
them-
is their
Potentially
Potentially.
done something.
Yeah.
So not necessarily done something, haven't been proven guilty of anything, potentially done something. So at the point that there would be, the investigation would be over, at that point, found guilty or not, then the director could release them and suspend them and or fire or bring it to the board for tenure issues. But it's a potential. So just, allegedly a student would say, teacher hit me on the head. Well, no one can prove it. Teacher word against theirs. Maybe she would remove that teacher until that investigation was done, just to find out that student was a liar.
right.
And the teacher never hit him, So it's a potential problem, not necessarily a conviction of that problem, if that makes sense.
So
You read the whole paragraph, I think it makes more sense than reading one line in it. It says that she can move somebody down here for up to 90 days, and what she's speaking of. But if you're suspending someone that's under an investigation, it's without pay. And if they are vindicated from that, then you will reimburse that pay. And if they're not, they won't be.
Where
Is
is
that right,
that?
Ms. Chairman?
Yeah.
Where is it that it is without pay? That's the part
It's
I'm
just
not
saying
reading.
that she, under no circumstances shall she suspend a teacher with pay. So it's saying that she cannot suspend them with pay if they're under investigation for those items above it.
She can't pay them while they're on suspension is the point. It's
So Lucas, this, I think, tied exactly with what I mentioned to you the other night. So there was something in the paper recently about a school system. And I think this is exactly what this addressed. A teacher was accused, and there was like a whole next day that teacher was still in the classroom. And when I read that, it was like, oh my goodness, I came to Lucas and I shared the article because I was just like, tell me we know, get that teacher out of the classroom till you figure out whether they're telling the truth or not. You can't have that that accusation and we let them back in a classroom.
We
Right.
always remember.
The whole policy is not saying we don't suspend or we always pay. It's, I think this is just giving us in that moment where there's an accusation and you don't know, you have the right to just pull them out of the classroom until we figure this out. So I just thought that was interesting. I said that to you, then I looked today and I was like, oh my goodness, it's right there and I didn't know.
And just to follow up her question, I told Ms. Limpley, Ms. Hall, my 2 years in this role, has been very good at saying when an accusation is made against an employee, we have to get that person away from students immediately
Right.
while we investigate. Not saying they're guilty, but while we investigate,
Absolutely.
they have to be removed from students.
I have Mr. Hall on phone here because he's not here. Mr. Hall, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Do you want to comment on this section?
Yeah, I just wanted to say I think you all have finally gotten there. Do not pay teachers while their suspension is pending an investigation. And so we can do that. What this policy is just addressing is that some school systems, I think Ms. Lampley might have alluded to, have paid teachers while a suspension was pending. And this makes clear that we cannot pay employees while a suspension for an investigation of these types are pending at all.
Did that answer you, Ms. Thiel, or you still have a question? I think your question is the way it, instead of it saying it's non-paid, you're confused by the way it's worded.
Just, the way it's worded confuses me. And then I was just wondering, is it our practice? I mean, we need to get them out of the classroom immediately. I understand that part. I just don't know if we're giving them money or we're not paying them, or how are we doing that? And I'm just not clear in the way this is stated.
Because it says very clearly it is with pay. That second bullet says it is with pay. I picture this being like for 24 hours.
But we don't, but it's not stated.
Right.
You're picturing
Right.
that, but
Yeah.
it could be 3
That's right.
months. And that was my question. You know, they're supposed to be in the classroom teaching,
Mhm.
but they're not.
Right.
And so we're having to pay twice. We as
Yes.
a board,
Yeah.
we as a district, the way I'm picturing this in my mind is that the district is being penalized for that person's actions. We have to do what is necessary to protect that child. And so maybe I just need to read this thoroughly again. I have read it several times, but I will read it again.
And it might need some additional language because I feel like it's addressing the time before you can enact the suspension and stop the pay. There's a moment to do that, and in that moment, you can still pull the teacher out, bring them up here, and give them an assignment. But you don't have to wait till you've done all the processing to suspend them to pull them out of the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you're right. I may be seeing it that way because that's what I want us to have in place. And so maybe it needs more language because it does say this is talking about with pay before you've actually suspended them without pay. That making sense? But yes, is the language there that would prevent us from temporarily for a month paying two people? Yeah, there's nothing on this that says the intent is that this is a very short-term solution, or so does it need some additional language?
Because we might have some, I don't know. I
That's
mean,
what you're
just
saying.
saying the way I'm reading is I could have someone that could be here for a year and I'm paying for them to be in the classroom. That's why
14
I
through
just
20
need some
covers that.
language.
Second paragraph covers past 90 days. That's what I
Okay,
was
then
referring
where
to.
is
I didn't
that?
realize y'all were on the bullet points. Read that second paragraph, 14 through 20 in its entirety.
That's the suspension without pay. This new language is with pay, and it doesn't have a time limit.
The temporaries with pay and and that does happen. You have to. It's a placement thing. You can't not pay them while you're checking it out or investigating internally.
But just does it need some definition of temporary? Does temporary have?
I think there is one at 90 days.
I think the temporary is more likely 2 days.
Well,
right?
I would think so,
With
but
pay.
I don't know that you can
Yeah.
limit a 2 or 4 day with a scenario or not knowing the situations. And I think that flexibility is there for that reason. And over the years, it's happened on several occasions where they were back within a day or back within 10 days. Think of one particular, it was about 3 weeks. But it was a total vindication from an intentional action of a minor. Things get said that aren't always true, and I don't think there's a place to move them away from the classroom while that's being checked into. You can't always put a timeline on those type things. I saw the article you're speaking of, the report, and from the outside looking in, I would have thought they'd been removed too, but I also don't know what was on the inside looking out.
Always, yeah. So I guess it's whether we're comfortable thinking this temporary would be as short as possible. I mean, I
really think that falls into operations. They have to have that flexibility.
Are you wanting more added, or are you okay
I love
leaving
it.
it?
Like I said, I was thrilled to see it because I'm like, I hope we did this. And I love the idea of putting it in our policy.
Any other questions or discussion on it? Vote on 5.200.
Ayes.
Move to 5.201.
So separation practices for, again, certified staff but non-tenured teachers and TSBA recommended changes. See the part at the beginning is
The same.
to what we just discussed.
To approve.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve 5.201. Any other discussion? Vote, please.
All ayes.
5.202.
Separation practices for non-certified employees. Section at the beginning identical to what we've discussed for the previous two policies. Then that language in lines 20 through 22 on the first page. that is found in the other policies, but not found in this one currently. Some other TSBA recommended changes throughout.
Any questions?
So move to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve 5.202. Any other discussion? Vote, please.
All eyes.
Motion carries. Next, we move to calendars.
We presented the 26-27 and 27-28 calendar at the planning to you. We made the corrections on the 26-27. We have now the exact dates of homecomings. Creekwoods would fall September 25th, and Dickson County High School's homecoming the 23rd of October, and those were not showing. So that was the adjustment there. And then 27-28 calendar, we put in the specifics on the side where it gave homecomings, graduations, parent-teacher conferences, and those things instead of to be determined.
You got the end of the school year ending on Tuesday, 26, 27, and ending on a Wednesday, 27, 28. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I know we already approved 26, 27 at one time. Could you please tell us what the changes were again on that? I know you said in the work session.
Yes. We changed a parent-teacher conference to, I don't have my.
The second half of the year?
Yes.
And it was originally 11 to 7. Now it's nighttime, right?
Yes, it is. And then we added the homecomings.
Okay, and that's
specific
it.
homecomings. That's it.
So, Madam Chair, I'm going to ask you to separate these since 26, 27 is amend and a change.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the 26, 27 amendment to the calendar.
I will second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the amendment of the 26-27 calendar. Any other discussion? Vote, please.
All eyes.
So we have the 27-28.
The adjustment here was to place in the specifics of the dates on the side of the calendars where it said to be determined. We actually put in the specifics there of what those were. And that was homecoming, parent-teacher conferences, graduation, and those items.
Homecoming is still to be determined. Is that something we can't?
Well, I
we
missed
can't-
the. No,
Can we? Is that something we just always have to amend?
they tell us, and it
Yeah.
depends on football
So it's
and games. So
it's
we
stay
will
there.
amend that.
We don't ever really vote to amend it in the past. They just schedule it and announce it because
Okay.
it's not us that sets that date.
And that's a little far out for them to tell us exactly.
Motion to approve 27, 28 calendar as presented.
Second with a question after, please.
I have a motion and a second to approve the 27-28 calendar. Discussion.
Question. The both calendars, but the 26, 27 was already approved. But
Yes.
we have 85 days before winter break, and then we have 95 after. And we have to do 180 a year. But is there any guidelines that states those need to be more balanced, or are we okay doing it that way? And I go back from an action that took place 7, 8 years ago that we had to change some dates to get them to balance. So if you don't think it's a problem with the state on that, then
I'm going by the big five.
Thank you. I know.
And a fall break being 2 weeks.
You'll never get rid of it.
Any other discussion?
And people like it. We survey.
Vote, please. I'm trying to get my mouse there.
All eyes.
Motion carries. Next, we have William James Middle School dress code.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the William James Middle School dress code. Any other discussion? Vote, please.
All eyes.
Next, we have Director's Report.
Miss Furry, can I get your signature before you leave? John Hancock. Thank you. Well, we've been very busy today. We had interviews for the Burns Middle School principal. They went well tonight. Thank you. Before coming to this meeting, Dr. Marvin and I were in White Bluff where they wrote a proclamation to Coach James Smith. Creekwood High School flag football won the first state championship for Dickson County, and we are so excited. And I'm excited that I get my second ring sitting in the seat. So Charlotte Middle School girls softball was the first ring presented, and now flag football. And the girls were so excited. And we have a picture that I will share with you. So excited for Coach Smith, who does a wonderful job, and those girls who have had a really good season. I am passing out just some information for you in regards to our summer learning camp. And the number of students up to 5th grade, you will see on this form. And Dr. Marvin, we have around rising 6th grade through rising 9th, and high schools up to 12th grade, 124 students that will be participating in our summer school. You will see that we have 518 rising K through 5 students in the STREAM camp, K through 3rd graders. We will have, this year is the first sports camp that we will offer that opportunity for 4th and 5th grade students, and we have currently 141 students that have signed up for that. And then we will be providing free breakfast and lunch. Transportation will provide 373 students with rides for summer camps. So that is a lot, but I am so glad that families have decided to send their students to summer camp, because it creates the gap closure so that students are well prepared and ready to hit the ground running in August 1. So excited for those opportunities. Troy mentioned the free food Thursdays, and so I gave the flyer that he and his team created and the dates so that you can get that out, talk to people if they call you. We have done media blast. We are putting that information out there. I think it's a good thing, and if we have it to give, we need to make sure our students get that food. There are parameters, and that means that students have to be with parents for pickup. And then Andrea Bobian, Bright Beginnings. This is the flyer that went live on social media through ThrillShare. Our partners, CTE partners, this has gone out into the community, and we are filling those seats. So I would
I'm providing these because I know you have calls from people and need to have information at hand to provide. And so lots of good things happening. And this is the first bright beginnings for this pre-K program for the district. Are there any questions? We had 2 wonderful graduations. If you have not seen the post, they've done a really good write-up of both graduations, and we're proud of that. Yes, sir.
On the sports camp,
Yes, sir.
when the coaches have like basketball camp, I mean, is that a money maker for them?
When the coaches have basketball camp and it's school affiliated, no, sir. It is not a moneymaker. It's the camp for the school and the athletes. Yes. Now, this right here, people will be getting paid through the summer money that we get for from the state.
Okay.
Yes, just like the teachers are getting paid to teach at summer school.
But the camps that like all team puts on.
If it is, it goes through, and Joey and Valerie have been working on this very conversation that if they get paid, it has to run through the bookkeeper. We are creating that, and their payment goes through the books for
You're
that.
talking about the coach gets paid.
Yes.
But I'm saying, isn't that a fundraiser for the
It
team
could be
when
a
they have those camps
fundraiser,
and the
but if it
kids?
isn't a fundraiser, then it has to be ran through specifics according to policy. And we have been addressing that. Yes.
But some are fundraisers.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
I was just wondering if this would cut into, their camp to think about.
This right here, no, sir. Sir, this is totally a separate thing.
A strange question, but it's about compensation. So we have teachers that do the summer camps, they get compensated for that. Do they also get, is there retirement pay added to that?
No. Yes.
It is.
PCRS.
Okay.
Yes. I had to think about that.
Okay.
Yes. It's very nice, and we have teachers that do a really good job of closing gaps. And when students have to test at the end, because they do have to do a benchmark so that we gauge data behind the success of it, we have shown some improvements. It's really good.
Any other questions for Dr. Sutherland?
We did host our community leadership, our last meeting for this year. Miss Robin Lampley sits on that and will for the 26-27 year. We did take a field trip to the new field, and they were highly impressed with all the happenings of the sports complex. And we had great conversations and what else has to occur before we sign off on completion of that. So we had a great conversation around ACT and how we can better support students in that work and communication. And we shared the summer learning camp and all of that with them. So pleased that has gone well. And so we will be making a few new selections to that team, and we will carry that out for the 26-27 year. And we're going to put a committee together for the leader in me. And if you are interested in setting on that, please let me know. That will be another team that will be created. And I would love to have a board member or two to sit on that. So.
Good job for retiring board member.
So let me know. Okay, thank you.
If you haven't read the book that you gave us, it's an excellent.
I'm in the process.
Well, it's a really good. It's a really good read.
It is.
It is.
When you said retired board member, do you talk about Sonya or you talk about Sherry and Phil?
Yeah, define retired.
Yeah.
It's open
See
to
that- see,
interpretation.
Thank you, Dr. Sutherland. Do we have anybody here from DCEA tonight?
I do not see anyone.
Does DCEA represent their people in the summer?
They could. We give them an opportunity. I know that Miss Joyce is not feeling well.
None of the members come on the summertime?
It just depends.
Okay, next we have public comments. We have Mr. Parrish here to speak on some board policies.
The policies are in the numbers.
Good evening, members of the board, and thank you for inviting me to speak tonight. My name is Michael Parrish, and I'm here regarding my son Levi and his placement at New Directions Academy. Levi was placed at NDA on March 21st following a zero tolerance policy violation. At the time of the placement, we were informed that his assignment would be for 50 days. When I asked how that duration was determined, I was told that it was standard policy for this type of infraction. When we attended the DHA hearing on April 6th, our understanding was that the district policy allowed for individualized consideration and a proportional discipline consistent with the restorative principles outlined in board policies 6309, 6313, and 6317. That individualized consideration is what brings us here tonight. Over the past year, my family has faced some very difficult circumstances. My wife is battling stage 3 breast cancer, and my son has been diagnosed with celiac disease. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. These challenges have affected our family emotionally, physically, and financially. I want to be very clear. I'm not offering these circumstances as an excuse for Levi's actions. He understands that he made a bad decision, not even a bad decision, a really bad decision. And he's accepted the responsibility for these actions from the very beginning. He did not lie when questioned by school administration, anyone. What I'm asking is that the board consider the full picture of who Levi is, the circumstances surrounding his situation, and more importantly, how he has responded since he has been placed at NDA. Since arriving at New Directions, Levi has worked extremely hard. Multiple teachers and administrators have personally contacted both my wife and I to praise his attitude, behavior, and his work ethic. They have described him as respectful, engaged, accountable, and responsive to the intervention. In 37 days at NDA, Levi has earned almost 200 positive behavioral points, while also maintaining an A average academically. To us, this demonstrates exactly what restorative discipline is intended to accomplish. I encourage you all to look at his records for yourself. I'll say this again. Levi has accepted accountability for his action. He has complied with all court-related requirements connected to this matter. He has demonstrated personal growth, maturity, and a positive behavioral change. Most importantly, he has shown that he has learned from this experience. Because of that, we are respectfully Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Our concern is that extending Levi's placement beyond the end of this past academic year, the punishment becomes less restorative and more punitive. And that in the long term, the impact would have a drastic effect on his transition into high school. This summer is an important transition period for incoming freshmen. I know we all remember our freshman year. I know I sure do. A new school, new people, new teachers, new everything. We have been informed by coaches and staff that missing freshman orientation and summer workouts would place Levi significantly behind his peers, both academically and socially, as he enters high school. We understand the seriousness of this incident, and we understand that consequences are appropriate. We are simply asking for reasonable, individualized discretion, and that you all have open minds and not prejudge this situation. I've carefully reviewed district policies involved in this process, and while those policies clearly allow for discretion, In case-by-case consideration, I've been unable to locate any written policy establishing a mandatory or standard 50-day placement at NDA. We respectfully ask the board to apply the district's commitment to fair, individualized discipline that focuses on growth, accountability, and keeping students engaged in school whenever possible. So we are respectfully requesting Levi's placement to conclude at the end of this current academic year, May 22nd, and allow him to begin high school having taken accountability, learned from this experience, and demonstrated meaningful personal growth. Thank you for your time and consideration and your service in the community. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. And if not, Levi has a statement he'd like to read to Dr. Sullivan.
My name is Levi Parrish. I am currently an 8th grade student. I was placed at New Directions Academy following a disciplinary incident earlier this year. I understand that my choices led to this situation, and I take full responsibility for my actions. If I could go back and handle the situation differently, I would have spent a lot of time thinking about what happened and how my decisions affected others, including my teachers, my family, and my school. I understand now that reacting the wrong way, even for a moment, can have serious consequences. I have learned that I need to slow down and think before I act and make better decisions, especially when I'm frustrated or under pressure. This experience has shown me the importance of being accountable and respectful at all times. During my time at New Directions Academy, I have worked hard every day to improve my behavior, attitude, and work ethic. I have followed directions, stayed focused on my assignments, and made it a priority to be respectful to my teachers and staff. And my teachers and the principal at New Directions Academy have recognized my effort and improvement, which means a lot and motivates me to continue doing better. I understand the expectations more clearly now, and I know what it takes to meet them consistently. If I am allowed to return, I will continue to follow the rules, stay focused in class, respect my teachers and classmates, and make positive choices every day. I'm getting ready to enter high school, and I want to start that next chapter the right way. I understand that I made a mistake, but I also believe I have learned and grown from this experience. I am respectfully asking you to allow me to start my 9th grade year fresh and not have to drag my punishment into next year. And I can continue moving forward in a positive direction and apply what I have learned. And I just want to make a thing that Miss Cruz and Coach Roberts both stated that once this is all over, I can just leave in my 8th grade year, but with this punishment, I can't leave it in my 8th grade year because it's dragging into my 9th grade year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Hall, would you like to make a comment?
Yes, board members, I would just remind you that this is a zero tolerance offense, and you all do not have any jurisdiction in this matter pursuant to state law. Zero tolerance offense is suspension up to 180 days pursuant to Tennessee Code Annotated 49.6.3401. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Parrish. Next, we have comments by board members. No comment?
Well, I'm going to say I have 3 young ladies that are on flag football that work at the concession stand with me, and they have been so excited. One little girl who is so timid, she told me last night, I just love flag football. And so, I know it's something new for us, and I know they can get excited when you win a state championship, but just to hear her kind of come out of her shell a little bit to say how much she loves it, I was excited to hear that and to see that growth in her personality.
And we had several teams that did really good that went to play for state, even if they just got runner up. So we're proud of all of our
We had
teams.
a lot of teams that went far this year. Another opportunity.
Any other comments? Hope everyone has a relaxing month after school being out and all that. And we appreciate everybody being here tonight.
I do have one
Sticking in there
comment
with
when
us.
you're done.
Mr. Haley?
Just a public announcement that our annual plan is coming up on June the 15th at TSBA office in Nashville. Make that more for a public announcement. I know it's been done once before. And I think our work session is going to be regular, condensed, and then back to construction plans. Is that what everybody else understands?
What day is that?
It's the
June
9th,
the
is that right?
9th?
If you didn't check your email, Allison sent us 26
Yes.
in an hour and a half.
I think it's 38.
She was
but yes.
She must have added because when I got it, it was 26.
Maybe I got some extra ones.
So would you share what you're talking about condensed? I don't know that I understood condensed.
Well, I think that's what we did a couple months ago. Instead of the administration bringing 2 hours of work session, bring up what's on the agenda coming up. Let's get the business part set aside in a shorter period of time and get to work on this. That way we're not doing 2 meetings for it. And also where we're not doing 15 minutes talking with the building planners either at the end. We did that during the budget at one time, remember?
Business only, move to the.
I'd try to be a little more diplomatic, but that's correct.
That's the 11th.
And that's what day?
I think that work session is on the 9th. Is that what's, I'm going from memory on
The
that.
9th or 11th?
The 11th? That's a Thursday.
It's a Thursday,
15th
the
is on
11th.
Monday.
So the planning session's on the 11th. Our planning in Nashville's on the 15th. Correct.
That is the 15th for sure.
Any other comments? Aaron?
15th, right?
Yes.
No comments. Thank you.
You gonna adjourn for us?
Motion to adjourn.